Hello, everybody. We want to welcome you to Lebanon Church for Keegan. Tonight, we're in the book of Joshua, 11 and 12. Now, for those of you who are joining us or may be hearing this online for the first time, we started in the book of Genesis and we began to declare the Bible to each and everybody who wanted to hear. So we started in Genesis and we worked our way on up to the book of Joshua. We did every chapter, line up on line, precept on precept. And they had a good laugh trying to watch me pronounce all these long and names that I can't. But to be a good cheer, we did get an understanding of what God is saying and how God is saying. Well, it won't be no different than tonight because there's 1,000 names that I'm not going to pronounce right. But I hope you guys can read it on the screen and follow along, and then we can let go and let God. Amen. For if we don't understand the Bible, how can we live it? And if we don't know the Bible, how can we talk it? I think we have a whole concept of what God is, but it's nothing like what this Bible is saying. I notice as we begin to go through the Bible, then we all begin to have a one mindset, a one understanding, because now we know what God is asking, what He's saying, and what He's demanding. And I hope you guys can find solace in that. So don't have to text me about these names. If you can pronounce them, you're better than me. But I'm going to be faithful with God to try to attempt it and go from there. 11. And it came to pass when Jabin, the king of Hathor, heard these things, and he sent folks to Jabo or Jabah, however you said, the king of Modin, and the king of um, Shamron, and the king of good God Almighty, Ashkobor, however you say that, and of the kings that were in the north of the Wood Mountain. So now these are all the different kings of the Canaanites. Okay, one of the things that you can do if you want to go back in history, you can Google these names and then they'll tell you a little bit more about the kings. One of the things I like to do when I'm studying the Bible, so you can see where the different tribes on earth come from. Now, a lot of these kings, whole nations was wiped out. Only a few of a lot of the peoples survived what God didn't want to survive because in the first, couple chapters in Joshua, I understand that Joshua made a league with a whole nation not knowing that he was doing it. And so, but these are the kings that God is going to allow, excuse me, Israel to take out. And the kings were upon the north of the mountain and the plains of Shadarah and in the valley and in the borders of Dar in the west, and to the Canaanites and to the east and to the west, and to the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites in the mountains, and the Hivites under Heron in the land of Mizpah. So now these are all the different kings that were there. And they went out, and they and all the hosts with them, much peoples, even as the sand that is upon the seashore in the multitude, with horses and chariots, very many. And when all the kings were met together, they came unto pitch together at the waters of Marah to fight against Israel. And the Lord said unto Jacob, listen what he said, be not afraid because of them. For tomorrow, okay, about this time will I deliver them up all slain before Israel. Thou shalt hew their horses and burn their chariot with fire. Now, one of the things I want you to see something right here. See, in all of our own ways today or this week, we engage in some type of battle with the enemy. And God is telling you, like He told Jacob, be not afraid because of them. Be not afraid because the circumstances before you, no matter what it is. See, the Bible said in the book of Proverbs, weeping may endure for a what night, but joy cometh in the what morning. I'm telling you that God is going to fight this battle for you. So Joshua came and all the peoples of war with him against them at the waters of Marah suddenly, and they fell unto them. And the Lord delivered them unto the hands of Israel, who smote them and chased them unto the great Zidon, uh, and unto, oh my God, Mesopotamia, if I'm saying it right, and to the valley of Mizpah eastward, and they smote them until they left them none remaining. So everybody who came there, all those different kings, all those mighty men of war, everybody's dead. And Joshua did unto them as the Lord bidded him, and he used their what horses and burnt their chariot with what fire. God had them kill all of it. Now you guys see the special effect on the screen where it's just popping up. I have no idea how I did that. So it's nothing new. It's just something that happened. I got to figure out what I did to make the animation work. All right, Joshua 11 here, 10 verse. And Joshua at that time turned back and took Hagar and smote the kings thereof with a sword. For Hagar before time was the head of all these kingdoms. So this is the Heather, however you say, he was the head of all of them. So, how can you put this here? Um, he was the main king, put it like that, and all the other different Canaanites and stuff like that dwell with him. It's kind of like Nimrod was. He's like, the main guy, and they had uh, this nation, and he probably was the stronger one, and Joshua smote him. And they smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of a sword, utterly destroying them. There was not any left to breathe. And he burnt Hazard, if I'm saying that right, with fire. And all the city of those kings, and all the kings of them, did Joshua take, and smote them with the edge of a sword. And he utterly destroyed them, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded them. Now, it's funny how they bring Moses back in there, because Moses didn't do nothing. But Moses did give the commandments to Joshua, same way that Jesus is dealing with him before he passed. Excuse me. But as for the city that stood still in their strength, Israel burnt none of them, save Hazar, if I'm saying it right, if I'm not, forgive me, only. That did Joshua burn, and all the spoils of these cities, and the cattle, the children of Israel took for a prey unto themselves. And every man they smote with the edge of the sword until they was destroyed, till they had destroyed them. Neither left they any to what breathe. And the Lord as the Lord commanded Moses his servant, so did Moses command Joshua, and so did Joshua. He left, none undone for all that the Lord had commanded with Moses. They killed all the kings, all of them. They wiped them out. Remember now, God is getting ready to let them possess the land. And so God didn't want these people to live among him. Okay? All right. And Joshua took all the lands, the hills, and all the north side country, and all the land of, what's this? Goshen or Gesham or however, and the valley and the plains and the mountain of Israel and the valley of the same, even the mountain, even from the mount Hegod. We maybe should try to pull up the Hesgod, Helak, however you say it. We may should pull up the map and see can we find that up on the map like we did. That goes to Seir, even unto Baghdad, the valley of Lebanon, until the mountain of Haran. And all the kings he took, and smote them, and slay them. And Joshua made war a long time with all these kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivite, the habitation of um, whatever his name is, and all other they took in battle. Now remember, that's the city where the men came to Joshua and say, "Hey, we will serve you. Don't kill us." And so Joshua took every city because they had promised these people and gave them their word, and so they couldn't slay them. All right, 20, working our way down to 23, 11, we roll in 12. For it was the Lord It for it was of the Lord to harden their heart. And so now God is saying that they harden their heart. How did God harden their heart? How do He do that? Do God just make them people mean and upset? Usually, when God is doing something and people don't understand, they instantly get mad at Him. Remember, He said, "You can't serve two masters. Either you're gonna hold the one and hate the other one." See, that's the type of thing God say He hardened their heart. Is that when God started out doing them, they started getting upset. They thought they was being mad at Israel, but they was being mad at God. And that's one of the things I tried to illustrate, because God Himself didn't cause these people to sin. Because we know in the Bible that God is not even willing for them to perish, but all come to repentance. But how He hardened their heart is that because they didn't want to follow Him, He began to take them out, and they began to get upset and try to beat God. And when they was fighting Israel, they was fighting against the God that came in. Okay, that they shall come against Israel in what battle? That He may what? Destroy them utterly. So God taunted them, so they would want to come and kill Israel, and that they might have no what? Favor. But they have, that He might have destroyed them, as the Lord commanded with Moses. At that time came Joshua and cut off the Anakims from the what mountains, from Herons to Dara and Ambar, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. 22 and 23 are the last one. And the names of Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel, only Gaza, I'm sorry, and Goth and Ashdod, there remain. Oh, huh. I wonder how Gaza put in there. I'm going to check out the map, because that's one of the lands that they're fighting over right now, Gaza, the Gaza Strip with Israel here. But it seemed like that land was left. Israel didn't habitate Gaza. Okay, that's just me thinking. Sorry about that. And Joshua took the whole land according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses. Joshua gave it unto the habitation unto Israel according to their divisions by their tribe. And the land rested from war. So God came and took it. But for whatever reason, Gaza, Gaul, and that other name that I couldn't pronounce was still there. That is very interesting to me. All right, Joshua 12, 24 verses in this one chapter here. Let's see can we get down to it so we get to the live discussion. Now these are the kings of the land with the children of Israel smite. He's going to go back through the whole thing to make me go through this. And possess their land on the other side of the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun, from the river Aron unto the mountain of Hur, and all the plains of the east. Shechem the king of the Amalekites dwelled in Heshbon, and ruled over, and the ruler from Ascod, which is unto the bank of the river Aron, and in the midst of the river, from the half of Galilee, even unto the river of Jabbok, Jabber, however you say it, which is the border of the children of Ammon. Who is Ammon? That is Lot's son. Remember that. And from the plains of the city of Shekingarah, Choro, however you say it, and from the east, and unto the seas of the plain, and unto the salt seas of the what east, and the way to uh, Benjamin, and from the south, and oh my God, that's that name again. Let me try it again. Asdu, uh, Asda, uh, Pasa. I tried. And to the coast of Og, the king of Bashan, and of the east, which was of the remaining of the giants, and they dwell in Ashtaroth, and to Ergod, and the region of the mountain Heron, and in whatever, and in all of Bashan, and the borders of uh, um, whatever, and the half of Galilee to border for Shechem the king of Ham. In other words, he's giving you the line out of the line. This, and I'm just gonna try to take you to the map so you can kind of see what they were. So, because the name is irrelevant at this point, but just to show you where he's showing you all the different places they took. Like I said in the previous chapter, I thought it was interesting that Israel um, didn't possess Gaza. So even now, they won Gaza in the war, but it was not part of the original seven of Israel. I think that to be very amazing right now. So the peoples that actually live in the land now probably were some of the original peoples that was there. So Israel shouldn't really have no right claim to that land because it's not the original land that God gave them, according to this Bible. Uh, them that Moses, the servants of the Lord of the children of Israel, I'm sorry, them did Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the children of Israel smote. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave it for a possession to Reuben and to Gad and to the half tribe of Manasseh. Now that's before they went over to fight across the Jordan. And these are the kings of the country that Joshua, the king of Israel, smote beside the Jordan, the westward, from Baghdad to the valley of Lebanon, even to the mount Hekah. Uh, did that goes up to Sehah, and Joshua gave it unto the tribe of Israel for a possession according to their division. In the mountain of the valley, and in the plains, and in the springs, and in the wilderness, and the south country, and the Hittites, they remember, right? They kind of like the Perizzites, the Hebusites, which they did not destroy because they was part of their king, and the Jebusite. And the king of Jericho won, the king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, won. And the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hezron won, the king of Jarmuk won, the king of Lisha won, the king of Eglon won, the king of uh, Gaza won, the king of Dabba won, the king of uh, Gida won, the king of um, Hermon won, the king of Og won, the king of Lebanon won, the king of I can't even say Adam won, the king of uh, what's that? That Mbakedo, I don't know how to say that. The king of Bethel won, the king of this one won, all the way down to 20 because I can't pronounce all the kings and I'm tired of punishing myself. Let's get on down to 22 before, but these are all the different kings that he brought. The king of Dor, the king of the coast of Dor, the king of all the nations of Gilgal won, and the king of Tistar won, and all the kings 30 and 1. So all these kings, it was 31 kings that Joshua took out. You can always go back and read the different kings here as they go down, but I can't pronounce all those names. But these are just all the different peoples that they got. Not great with names in the first place, but these names are so long and so weird, I don't even know how to wrap my mind around it. But anyway, what's going on in chapter 11 and 12? Joshua again go in and complete his mission by killing all the kings in the land. God began to name all the kings that he took out and the region which they had possessed. And so as we begin to look at this here thing, go forward, that's all that's going on with 11 and 12. Joshua is fitting up the business. Remember the previous chapter, he took Jericho's and a few other cities. He took all those cities based on how God has told him. God told him, be not afraid. This last and final battle, they brought everything that they had. The Amalekites, all the kings came up against him to destroy him, but God made it work. So what can you take from this chapter? Well, in our life now, as God began to deal with us, as God began to tell us his word and tell us his promise, I find out sometime when we begin to follow God, our mind have a hard time understanding God. Okay. And so as like Israel, God began to show Israel how strong his power and his might. And I believe in order for you to go to the next level, God is really going to have to show you his power, his strength, and his might in a way. So when we first begin to follow God, even now in our current circumstances, your mind is don't know how to formulate the proper plan for you to succeed. So you have to learn to wing it. What do I mean by wing it? Okay, most of you guys are getting ready to go into a battle for the spirit. Okay, so the Bible said that we have to have faith to follow God. Then he described faith. He said, now faith is the what? Substance of things hoped for. So something that you're hoping for should produce evidence. And it's also the evidence of things you're not seeing. Okay. For instance, let's say that you believe in God for a car, you don't have the money, and all of a sudden you have a dream that God's going to give you a check. Well, the thing that you was hoping for is going to produce, or God will show you the very thing that he's about to bring apart. Okay, he literally shows you the check. Why? Because your faith is producing a way to get to that result. Now, what the enemy tries to do, so many times, like Joshua, he told him, don't be afraid. I know that it's outnumbered. I know it looked like it don't work, but I am going to deliver this thing unto you. And I'm telling you, church, God is going to deliver it unto you. Okay, so let's look at this here. So God sometimes, most of the time in my adult life, whether by a dream, whether by my intuition, he will come in and show me that he going to do something before he do it. That is designed so when you see what God showed you, that seal your mind up to a point that doubt that you once had goes. So you'll go from, oh, I believe this can work, to I know it's a work. That's a big difference. And so right now you guys are in a baby stage where God is trying to deal with you with circumstances. And what did the enemy do? He'll come in and pile so much on you with these circumstances. And that is designed to make you quit. So sometimes the enemy tries to delay your blessing, but God would never deny you. So then you have to go back to God. Oh, say, Father, this would happen. I remember the prophet went to God and wrote a letter that the king said that he was going to do to him. And the king wrote that prophet read that letter to God, as if, this is what the king has said to him. You see what I'm saying? So as we going forward with everything, in everything, just know that God will be with you forever and he will continue to stay with you. So what I'm trying to tell you is this here. No matter what battle you in, seek the answer you need to succeed. See, and God will tell you exactly what to do to keep that faith alive and keep it working. Never surrender and never die. Well, that's my message for tonight. If you like what you hear, you have to go to LebanonChurchWaukegan.org. Again, that is LebanonChurchWaukegan.org. For our Bible study, you have to go to the live broadcast tab. Select the Bible study from the drop-down menu that would appear and join our Bible study community. This Bible study community have a vast video of what we went from Genesis on to the Bible and a bunch of other teaching that we was teaching before we decided to go to the Bible. Within that Bible study video collection, you have things like conflict resolution. How do you resolve the conflict? Just so much wonderful things. What is faith? We did a whole series about faith. And so you'll find all that good information on the Bible study community. I promise you, there's so many videos there. And going through the Bible, you're going to laugh at me mispronouncing all these names, but you will get a great understanding of what God is saying. And that's what we all after. So, no further ado, may God bless you and forever keep you in his care as we get ready to go live for live discussion.